Don't forget to like and subscribe to Evolve MEP. Hello, this is Amber. Let's go over data profiles within Evolve MEP. Data profiles will be within both electrical and mechanical for Evolve. You're going to find it within the Utilities panel within your ribbon. So now when I select on my data profile itself, the feature, then this dialog box will come up and we're going to have it be broken up by our data profiles themselves and also the fields. So let's focus on this data profile itself here. So within here we have our name. So how are you going to name this? Whatever makes sense to you. Then we'll have a description. So if you want to put a description of what this profile actually is, you can definitely do that. So again, EV trapeze report. This is going to be your MEP trapeze report. So you can put a little bit more description if you need be. So totally up to you. Then we have our element filter. So element filter is a super powerful tool. You actually will see element filter throughout the software as well. So within the element filter, you can see you can select your category. You can come in here and define the rules then that will impact these categories. From there, we have our direction. So with your direction, you have your export or import. So export, that is if the parameter value is being displayed in a report, your evolve properties, and so on. And when you select import, that is if the parameter value is being written to a file like your CSV data exchange. Going on from there, we have our selection scope. So for your entire project, active view, current selection, or prompt. Going on from there, we have our expansion options here. So no expansion, extend and keep retainer, or expand and exclude retainer. So this is going to be defining whether or not Evolve will further inspect elements such as assemblies. We have our column name list here. And then from there, we have our groups. So you can define if this is going to be for reports, is it going to be for find elements, is it for your properties? And then you have your subgroup. This is great for defining if it's going to be your EV, which is going to be for both Evolve electrical and mechanical, your EE, which is going to be for electrical, and EM, which is going to be for mechanical. Or you can totally use subgroup however makes sense to you as well. Why that's so nice is you can start to sort and filter this out. So with all of these dialog boxes, you can come in here and have the ability to sort and filter. You can see, just like, again, any other dialog box within Evolve, you can see we have our add new, our delete. You can come in here and duplicate selected rows, and you can also export the grid as currently displays to an Excel. So on top of that, you can also export and import these in. So importing in your profile is going to be huge. We do now ship with sample files within 6.0, so you can definitely import in preset up profiles if you would like. But just like anything else, you can fully customize it. You can create one just for yourself as well. These are project settings, so keep that in mind. When it comes to project settings themselves, all of these settings will be saved to the Revit file itself, so no matter who goes into this, they'll have access to these profiles. That's when the descriptions become important, because you kind of want to tell your coworkers what you're doing and why you created this profile itself. All right, let's go through one of the profiles that are already set up for us. And this, again, I imported in from that sample file. So let's scroll down here and let's go to our part information. So you can see we have our EV part information for that name. My description is provides basic information for parts. Category ID, description, manufacturer, and length. For our element filter here, we have a ton of different categories that are, again, selected. We don't have any rules defined, but again, we're just worrying about the elements themselves. For our direction, we have export. We have our entire project as a scope. We have our expand and keep retainer. We have our group being for our properties, and we have a subgroup being for both electrical and mechanical. Now going into our fields here, we have our column name. So for our column name, it's going to display a name that's going to be similar to the parameter itself. So this is the column name, and we're going to be pulling our parameter for our evolve length. And then we again have description. So this is going to again be the name, and this is going to be the parameter that's going to be assigned to it. So that is the profile itself. Let's see how it looks within our properties themselves. All right, let's go into our evolve properties here. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to define my data profiles. So this is our project evolve properties configuration here. So I'm going to go into my EV part information. Again, this is that data profile that we just went over. I'm going to enable it and then press OK. So now when I select any element within my project here, it's going to, again, pull that parameter information. So you can see that is that column name, and this is that parameter that was pulled. So the description, we have our 3-inch EMT conduit. Length, we'll have that parameter, and so on. So now you can see we have that column name, however you want to describe it, and then you'll have that parameter itself. All right, let's go over making a super simple data profile. So I'm going to go into my data profile. I'm actually going to come down here to that part information profile that we just went over, and I'm going to actually duplicate this. So you can definitely do this. You can either start from scratch or you can definitely duplicate other created profiles if it's going to be pretty much how you want it to be. Maybe you want to pull different information for the parameters or things like that. So you can definitely duplicate this. So instead of part information, I'm going to say work set. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a data profile to display within my evolve properties to show me my work sets. So display work set. My element filter, I'm going to keep my element filter how it is. I'm not going to create any additional rules just because I want to be looking at all these categories and nothing really specific. Going on for there, I'm going to keep the direction, the scope, my expansion options, and the group and the subgroup all the same. So then I'm going to come down here and I'm actually going to come here and delete these because I don't care about these. I'm only going to be worrying about one thing, and that is my work set. So within my parameter itself, I'm going to come down here and supply my work sets. So I just want my column name being work set, my parameter being work set. So press OK. Now let's go back to our evolve properties here. And I'm going to also now enable my work set. It's OK. So now when I select any of my element, so like my hanger, it'll also now show me just that work set itself. So like I was saying earlier, data profiles are really important when it comes to the features within the utilities. You're going to see it throughout the features. The whole thing is when it comes to the data profiles, it is allowing you to be able to source data for either the features or be able to export information out. I'll make videos in the future going over some of the other features that are impacted by the data profiles, but the whole thing is being able to understand how the data profiles are set up, so then you're able to use them throughout the software as well. So let's just look at one other thing when it comes to, let's say, the reports. So within our report manager, you can see we have our name, we have our primary profile and additional profiles. These are going to be where you're able to choose between the data profiles. So these two reports I imported in from, again, the sample files. I also brought in the sample files of my data profiles, and you can see we have our build material, and I just made sure I mapped my EV BOM for my build material for this report itself. So once you have that set up, making sure the correct report is pulling the correct data profile, then you're able to run the report itself. So like I was saying, just making sure that data profile is set up and you're pulling the right information and the information that you want to see. That's the big thing, is making sure that is set up in that way. So that's a little bit about data profiles. If you want to dive a little bit deeper into any of the features that are impacted by data profiles, or if you have any questions about data profiles, definitely let me know. Thank you.